I'm Petri Nukarinen and I'm an ultrarunner from Finland, from the city of Nokia. I live here with my 2 sons and wife and 2 guinea pigs. I'm a software engineer and I work as a director in a small software company. And I've been doing all kinds of sports all my life, I guess you could say that. And well, first I started with some martial arts, minor weightlifting, that kind of stuff back in 2000 or even earlier before that. And for the last 10 years, I've been mainly focusing on different kind of endurance sports. And since 2004 or 5, my main goal has been ultra running. When I started ultra running, it was maybe 2004 or 5, around that. I was going with the conventional way of eating and doing stuff. So my diet was this regular diet, and I was trying to fuel myself with these sugar gels and stuff. And quite early on, I noticed that it wasn't really working for me that well. Before I turned to using a paleo diet and using Vespa, my preparations for the race was always this basic carb loading. And I can remember still that when I did my first, or tried to do my first 100-miler trail race, I was amazed about the pile of sugar gels on my floor that I was supposed to eat during the race. And of course, I was doing it all by the book then, and tried to stuff all of that gel inside me while doing the race, and that didn't turn up that well. I got big stomach problems from that race, and I had to DNF the race in about 100 kilometers. When I was doing the conventional way of eating sugary gels and stuff like that, only as a fuel source for my racing, I had some really severe bonking experiences, and also much more gut issues as now. My first super bonking experience was the only actual marathon that I have run. It was in 2000, and I think that my nose and ears cramped. So it was a whole body experience. But I managed to get the goal that time. And with moving into ultra running later, the bonking issues were much more severe. And it was in 2016 that I came up with this book called Primal Endurance. And in the book there was stuff about paleo style eating and also training. And actually it was that book where I first ran into Vespa and OFM Protocol as well. And I immediately knew that was the stuff for me. And I started to change my diet quite radically, changed to paleo, low carbohydrate diet. And I guess I lost about 10 kilos. I guess it's about 22 pounds of body fat in 3 months. And I was really not in trying to lose weight. It just fell off of me. And my training started to get much more better. And all the time I was listening to this podcast where Peter was talking about OFM. People like Jeff Browning talk about the OFM protocol. I was studying it, I was really interested in it, and ever since I've been doing more and more trials with Vespa and having more experiences with that. When I first read about the Vespa product and where hearing the claims that what it can do and what's the origin for it, my thoughts about it were quite the same as running 100 miles at first thought. They must be all crazy. The reason I wanted to try Vespa was really how to boost my performance as a fat adapted athlete. So I was fascinated about the thought that I could get even more out of my engine by using Vespa. And the examples that I noticed from Jeff Browning and Zach Bitter and other athletes were really thought-provoking, that what if I could get an extra boost for my racing. My first experience with Vespa doesn't actually recall a really wow effect for me. And I would guess that that was because I've been doing this fat adapted athlete stuff for many years now. But it was probably the second or the third trial, really long training session, when I started to notice the effects. And the effects for me were like that. I noticed that I had more stable energy during the training, and I also had more energy than usually. But the biggest bonus for me was that since I usually do those long training sessions after an overnight fast, so after the training it's usually 1 or 2 hours before I start to eat. And it used to be so that I was eating all the time, all the evening before I went to bed. And now when I'm using Vespa in that kind of training, it's more stable recovery, and I don't have to eat that much anymore. When I'm using Vespa and going with the low carb approach as a fat adapted athlete, I haven't really had any true gut issues. I used to have pretty severe migraines really often, and after cutting the sugar stuff out of my diet and eating really clean, I have basically had no migraines anymore. And of course, I lost that 10 kilos, 22 pounds of fat really easily. My typical recovery time used to be, I would say, something at least from 1 to 2 weeks. And now it's probably more like some days, and after that I can continue some walking and easy running after the race. And the swallowing in my legs is much less than it used to be. Using Vespa will go to a real first trial for me pretty soon. I was thinking that this year I will not get a chance to go to any races, but that suddenly changed some couple of weeks ago. I got the information that I can participate to a 100-mile special race in Lapland, and I took the chance immediately. And it's a one-way longest ultra trail race without circulating a route in Finland. One big bonus about that next race is that that's the Western States 100 qualifying race, and that's one of my dreams. So after completing that race, I will be applying to Western States as well. Next year, I will be most probably participating to this L'Infernal 200-kilometer race in France, and for 2022, I should now have a certain place for UTMB, and that's also one of my big dreams to participate in that. If you're thinking about trying Vespa or trying the low carb approach, trying to become a fat adapted athlete, I think that you should definitely use Vespa, because you can get the benefits for it before going fat adapted, and you can get the benefits after that. So if I sort of recall my own transformation, Vespa would have probably been really helpful in the first stages of fat adaptation, when your body is not really fat adapted and you are trying to do your training. I would believe that Vespa will help in that phase.